Listen, Tom is another seasoned pro. He's been trading since the 70s, published in most every major financial publication out there. This guy knows his stuff. And I am really pleased to introduce him, as he's recognized as one of the very first traders who is successful enough to trade online live in front of an audience. And we did that in Orlando together. You guys are in for a real treat. Tom, take it away.
Before I get started, I had to tell you, Roger said y'all were looking good, and he's right.
I love y'all, see?
Now, Tom, you're talking about me, right?
Right, you. That's right. That's right. Yeah. Roger said, they're looking good. I said, looking good. So, ready to get started?
Absolutely, Tom.
I got it. All right, let's do a voice check real quick. Can everybody hear me okay? Testing 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, Chris, Sandy. Okay, good. All right, I always like to do this. Type in where you're signing in from. Type in where you're signing in from. Williamsburg, Pennsylvania, Galveston, Atlanta. Yeah, that's sort of a test for me too. I want to make sure I can see. All right, you're looking at DTI there in Mobile, Alabama. I have now moved to Ponte Vedra, Florida. So this will be one of my second or third broadcasts from here. But anyway, we've been doing this a very long time. Have a bunch of friends in the industry, and I think that you're looking at our classroom there in Mobile, and oh wow, the time was 2. Okay, all right. Hope everybody's doing great. So listen up, folks. I'm going to give you, we're going to talk today about a software tool that I use that we developed here at DTI over 20 years ago. I think it's the best tool on the market for analysis, interpretation, and execution. So anyway, we'll talk a little bit more about that. Let me get started. Risk. There's always risk in trading. We always tell people to focus on the risk first. That way you know what kind of parameters you need to make money. And we find that interesting. But to get started, I'd like to give you a couple insights to the market. Number one, it's your attitude. Be positive. How you think is everything. If you're thinking, oh, poor me, poor me, poor me, your market and your account's going to show it. But if you come in with the attitude, hey, this is going to work and I'm going to do it and I'm going to stay involved. How you think is everything when it comes to trading. Number two, this is a little insight I've used for going on about 40 years, I guess. 40 years. I learned this. A stock that goes above 100 goes to 110. The story behind this insight was I worked at Merrill Lynch at the time, and I thought the company was really screwed up, and so I shorted the stock. And the stock was climbing, and eventually I had all my money in, and it hit 100. And the next day or the day after that, the first time it passed, it went to 110, blew up. That was one of the first big mistakes. But I wrote down, I said, hey, let me go do a study on this. And I did a study, and I found out a stock that goes above 100 goes to 110. It works, sounds simple, but it works great, okay? Now, insight number 3, it's coming up July the 4th. This is a big holiday for me, July the 4th. What you will see is the trend that we're into July the 4th. 2 things will happen on July the 4th when we come back for July the 4th. That trend will reverse pretty sharply, or it will accelerate. So you have to be ready for that. The reversal or the acceleration the day after July the 4th. Insight number 4, don't fight the Fed. I have told, Marty Swag came up with that many years ago, a great advisor, a great insight person to the market, but he said, don't fight the Fed. He was absolutely correct. We have that environment right now. I call it the Corona put. If you're watching the market, it gets down 2%, roughly 2%. It happens in the middle of the night. You will see buying step in to support the market. So if you're you know, if you've been short the market and you're hopeful it's going to drop out of bed, you're wrong. Don't fight the Fed. There's too much money out there. In fact, right now in the history of keeping track of these stats, we got more money on the sidelines, cash, than any time in the recent future or any time, especially in this environment. There's a lot of cash on the thing and it's stepping in and coming into the market. In fact, if you look at these brokerage firms, they've opened more accounts in the last 3 months than I think in years. And you look at that, and so people are at home and they're getting involved in the market and they're learning about the market. So it's a great inflow. One of the side things that are happening now, people are coming in to the market. So don't fight the Fed, the Corona put. Usually about 2% down is when it steps in. Number 5, always trade the path of least resistance. One of the best books I've ever read is called The World's Greatest Stock Trader. World's Greatest Stock Trader. It's by a friend of mine. He's dead now, but his name was Richard Smitten. He wrote that book about Jesse Livermore. There's more insights in that one book than I could think of. I read that book at least once a year. It will help you become a better investor and trader. But trade the path of least resistance. Market wants to go up, you go up. Now, for those that don't know who I am, I'm Tom Busby. I've been around a long time, former Air Force officer, active trader since the 70s. I'm still a member of the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. I run a small hedge fund, and I've dealt with over 50,000 traders. My books in order are Winning the Day Trading Game, The Markets Never Sleep, and Trade to Win. Winning the Day Trading Game was my first book, and I sort of, you know, back in those days when I got started, I didn't know the difference of a commodity account versus a stock account, to show you how naive I was when I started. But that book sort of tells the story of things you need to know and learn. People tell me that's read it. Anybody here ever read that book? Anybody? They tell me it's one of the best books out there, and it shows up. I think you get it on Amazon. I think. Okay. Now, in my opinion, now this is something you ought to write down, because I'm going to give you a specific time and the framework. Today at 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock today, if the market S&P gets above 3083, that's the weekly pivot. If it gets above that, you're going to start 5 days of rally, okay, ahead of this July 4th holiday. 5 days. Should start today, probably no later than 9:30, 10 o'clock tomorrow, but I'm looking for that to occur. You've got the perfect setup. If you go through all the news out there, Corona, bad news, bad news, bad news, it's all over the board. That's when you get what I'm talking about into a July 4th. And so the best thing I can tell you is find the stocks you like and start loving them, because they're going to get really good over the next 5 days. Now, here's the market update. Market opened the year at 32.37, currently about 30.45. By the way, we opened the week at 30.40, okay? We opened the week at 30.40. The low of the week is 3,005, and 30.83 is the pivot number. Gold, let's talk about gold real briefly. A lot of people are in gold. Gold is, my pivot number for gold is 1775. Here's what I think is going to happen. I think gold is going to go up, and I think it's going to go to 1845, and then you need to clear the deck and take your profits, because I do think it's going to get a little rough for a period of time to get everybody that buys it above 1800 out of that market. Typically, when it does that and has that spike high, you will see it drop $70 to $100 from that high. So I would look for gold to make that explosion in the near future. Okay. Crude came from a negative number up to 42. I think we're looking about 45 on August crude. That's the way I would look at crude going forward from here. Now, probabilities. Let's talk about it. Today, the probabilities are not good. That's why you're seeing a lot of this weakness here. Okay. But as you get to the night, as you get to this afternoon, you will see, and this is what you'll see, You'll start seeing buying step in the second half of the day. Sometimes it's enough buying, okay? Sometimes enough buying to turn the market, but generally speaking, prior to the run, you will see, oh, that's driving me crazy. I need to mute that. Let me do that real quick. Sorry about that. Anyway, I would expect, here's what I would expect, and I want you to think about this. I would expect that rally to start. If you look at the seasonality, all the averages are higher, and you peak on July 1st, and that should start from a seasonality point of view. And that's what I'm talking about. I think we got the perfect setup for it. Now, key news tonight. You got news. You got GDP that came out, but tonight you have earning news off Dryden Restaurants, and that's DRI. I would look for Dryden. If it gets above 73, that's positive. 73. There's the earnings coming out tonight, and that 73 is your number. Okay. Current put call. And this is how we track things. But if you look at this, look at how we came into the day. Everybody was real bullish coming in today because they know these same seasonality numbers I know, right? And then they got their head handed to them as the market went down, made a new low. But now look at the put call ratio intraday, 94. Everybody's starting to get bearish because the news agencies are coming out and giving you all the things that reason the market shouldn't be here, okay? I hear analysts after analysts telling me that. They're wrong, okay? They're wrong. All right, update on this money's money-making ideas. Every week I give my people money-making ideas. This week's numbers, let's look at it. I told them to buy gold above 165.11. GLD above 165.11. The trade went up to 167. It was a great trade and a nice pop in the first 3 days of the week. I told him to buy Zoom if it got above 245. Zoom, last time I checked on Zoom, was about, I'd have to check it here, but Zoom's in the 250s to 60s right now. What a trade, huh? All right, Shop. This is a new one for me. I've never been in Shop, but I bought Shop. Shop went to 928 this week. 928 this week. I put Shop on again. I'm going to take it for another dance. Shop. And that's a spread there, 880 to 890. And then finally, the QQQ, if you look at it, got above 247.11 on Monday, and we went up to 251, and we took our profits. But those were 4 money-making ideas that I gave people Sunday night for this week. Most people would say that's good for a month, good for a year, but I do this every week. I give these ideas to people where they can make money off of my experience. That's called leveraging my experience. These numbers and this work comes from the roadmap software I was telling you about. Now, here's a special opportunity. This was actually, I got this name from my accountant, and I started looking at it. I bought the stock around 70, and today it went up to 86.50. I'm still in it right now. It's you know, it's holding in there fairly decent. But this is something you probably ought to put on your watch list. I'll be trading. I did a spread in it yesterday, and it'll probably be in my money-making ideas for next week. All right, Apple. I think Apple, I told people that Apple would go up, and it went up, hit my number, and I got back in Apple. I just got in Apple again for another ride. You notice it went to 372. If I'm right on the market going higher, let's assume that I am. I'm right over the next 5 days. The market goes higher into that July 1st date. Apple will go up there and test that 372. So you can do spreads, you can do puts, you can do a lot of different things to make money with this one. Special opportunity on Apple. All right, now we're going to get into the software. How many of you have software that helps you decide long, short, or out? I'm talking about customized software that gives you the patterns you need to learn to make money. I have it. I built it. We've had it for about 20 years. I think anybody that's trading without this is really a fool. This is the best software. It's a combination of all this experience rolled into a simple and an easy way to analyze any market you want to trade. First pattern I teach people is the buy pattern. And we have buy zones, like the buy penetration bar. It goes into the penetration bar. It's simply confirmed by the next bar. That's a buy, okay? That's what I'm looking for. Then you have the buy failure, where it goes into the buy zone and fails, breaks below that bar. These are great trades, okay? Where it goes in, fails, and then you go the opposite way to the other side for the targets. But all your information that you need to trade any market you want to trade is right there in that gray area. You know where your targets are. You know where you're wrong. I mean, it's just right there in front. It was built by a trader, not by a programmer. That's the difference. Now, here's a sell signal. Standard sell signals opposite of a buy signal. Find that blue bar. It goes into the penetration area. It's confirmed down to the target. Now, this is the next pattern is the one you're going to make the most money with in the current environment. It's called a sell failure, where a market goes into the sell area, doesn't confirm, reverses, and goes the opposite way. And that's exactly what a lot of these charts look like to me today. And so we got to see if it does reverse. If it does reverse, you're going to see it go to those targets. And those targets are set for short-term, swing, or long-term targets. It works no matter what style of trader you are. Now, if you learn these 4 patterns, you'll grow your account. Dr. Collins, Alan Collins, was very skeptical. He's a heck of a trader, by the way. Been trading for 25 years. Very skeptical. I showed him this. He now won't trade without it. His account, you know, he was making some nice money. Now he's making a lot more money because he's using the roadmap for his entries, his exits, and his analysis. But if you learn these 4 patterns, you can take this one to the bank. Now, using the roadmap increases your odds and allows you to trade with experience. How do I know that? I will test our own students. I asked them a question. I said, who's making money? They raised their hand. I said, are you using the roadmap? To a man and woman, they all use the roadmap. It's a separator if you're trading the market. Now, we use our roadmap software. You know, a lot of people think, and I've asked this poll a lot of times, hey, how good a market timer do you think I am? Everybody says, hey, and I said, give me 0 to 10. It's always a 10 or higher, okay? But the real secret is the roadmap software. You know, whether I'm looking to be short-term, medium-term, or long-term. I do all 3 of these, so I'm switching on the look that I take. But I'll tell you, you got to start out with that short-term to get your entries. Now, I wouldn't trade without the roadmap, and you shouldn't either. People tell me constantly, we're incredible at market timing. I tell them back, it's not me, it's this roadmap software. Market timing is very important. The timing I gave you today, if I'm right, will increase your account tremendously if you have the confidence to stay in these trades. That's how I see the market and the way you should see the market. Now, it's easy to learn. I said when I was working with the programmers over the years, I said it's got to be simple. I don't want to be bogged down with software. It's perfect for whether you're a beginner or whether you're advanced. No matter if you're a small player or a big player, it's perfect for you because it's going to get you on the right side of the market. Now, in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you some additional bonuses and training before we go further. So why do you need it to start using it today? Well, if you had it on your computer, let's talk about that. We simplified that. We have a onboarding crew. Here's the way it works. You sign up, you subscribe to the roadmap. They take over your computer. They put it on your computer. You can have a sandwich. You can do something else. And then you turn around and say, thank you very much. We solved that issue because it was great. That's why you need to start using it today, because I'm telling you folks, when people hear the price we're selling it today, we're going to limit it. But when you see the price, you will say, I better be first. So how does the roadmap work? And then why you should start with it. Remember, the roadmap automatically adapts to any market condition. All through this corona crisis, all through everything that we were doing, we were using the roadmap software. The day prior to the big fall, we had a sell signal given by the roadmap, and I thought, wow, because I was so bullish. But if I, but I look at these numbers. These numbers are important. That's why I gave you 3083. It gives you a way to measure what I say when you look at the market. Now, here's the best part. We built a complete program around it. The whole roadmap is a roadmap methodology that takes into how to manage trades, how to do options, how to do stocks, how to do combinations of the two. We show you how to take advantage of it. Now, it's called the Roadmap Trader Package. That's what it's called. You're going to get the complete software right out of the beginning. And you're going to take those 4 patterns while you're learning all the other stuff and start using it in your analysis, interpretation, execution. That way you can see the market the way I see it, and I wouldn't trade without it. And no matter where the market's going up or down, this roadmap will get you on the right side and keep you on the right side. Okay, so the Roadmap Trader course, okay, will turn you into a master trader. Now think about this. Let's stop and think. The roadmap has been around for 20 years. 20 years. In that process, I've had a lot of chances to work with students like you that will say, hey, I want to get better. I'm not consistent in the morning. I'm not consistent in the afternoon. All that is contained in the roadmap software in the process we teach you, okay? And then you get to see the market the right way. You're no longer one of these pogues that don't know which way it's going, up, down, or whether you should stay out. Now, you're going to get one of my favorite modules. I call it the 67% accuracy module. Accuracy is important. Despite what Wall Street tells you, your accuracy has a direct relationship with your emotional makeup. If you're one of those people that like to be right, the roadmap's for you. If you're one of those people that just want to make money, the roadmap's for you. But the 67% accuracy module, okay, is going to teach you and take those patterns. I gave you a glimpse of the 4 patterns you got to learn. It's going to take it and go in depth and show you some other little insights about each. Trade management. Where you enter at? Where are you going to exit at? Where you're wrong? All this is in the trade management program. It sets it up where you don't have to watch and stay in front of the computer all day. You know the numbers. It's about the numbers. And this is one of the most important pieces of the package, the numbers themselves. Now, our customers ask, Tom, you got so much here. Do you have a way to have an executive summary of what's important? This is it. Our rapid results, quick start software is it. It's pretty cool. Now, I'm going to give you access to complete suite of roadmap products. It's incredible if you want to become a profitable trader. I can ask you 1 month after you've started using the roadmap and you go through the introductory videos and that, how are you trading? Your answer will be a lot better than it was. Now, people have told me, we used to sell this product for $3,000, and then I figured out, I could put it in more people's hands if I lowered the price a little bit. So we came down. So we lowered the price because I think if somebody's got the roadmap software, they're a better customer because they're making money and they're seeing the big picture. That's why we did it. And we did it on an annual subscription. That's the other thing that we did. So our support team I was telling you about, Jonathan Rowe, Chuck Crow, Mark Shar, and Tom Sheswick. They'll do all that technical stuff so you're not confused when you buy. I have bought software and I never download it because I get caught up on some little switch I didn't throw. We've got the team that's going to take over your computer. They'll get you set up and you won't have to wait. Now, we have a guarantee here. If it's not helping you become a successful trader, if you learn it, you will make money. That's why we have that simple guarantee. If you can find any method that's more effective than this, we'll give you your money back, okay? That's the way we do it, okay? That's simple. Now, I'm going to give you the opportunity to take advantage for they're going to raise the price. Adam, let me tell you what happened. They have raised the price, but he couldn't get the link changed. And I said, well, let them have it at this price today. You know, Nikki and Pat are so sweet and great. We said, let's just let them have it. We'll do it at that price. Okay. So this is the price. It's never been lower than this price in the history of the roadmap. So you get the roadmap software, you get the roadmap trader course, you get the 4 patterns module, you get the trade management course, you get the rapid regret, you get access to the whole package, you get full technical support. And by the way, if you need to talk to somebody at DTI, you can talk to somebody. We're not one of those companies that only give you email. We'll give you a phone number and you can ask questions. That's worth a fortune. Now, you have 0 risk if you subscribe today and take this offer. Take it. That's my advice to you. It's truly worth a lot of money to me. In fact, it is worth so much money to me. I've got it up over here on this computer. Got it up over his computer. I'm keeping up with the market while I'm doing the presentation. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. It's how I make my living doing this, how I became a professional trader. I developed the software years ago because they didn't have what I wanted. Now, so here's what we're going to do for you today. All this, the 67% module, the trade management, roadmap trading course, the online access. Oh, by the way, did I mention we have daily training in it in the afternoon at the end of the market? And at the end of the market, when we have that daily training, we're talking about the real market. So you're getting a whole bunch of education with the package. Now, there's 2 options you can take advantage of today. They put this on here and it's great. Let me tell you about it. The first, and like I said, it's never been offered at that price. That's 1 year, $497, and no risk if you take it and it doesn't work for you, but it will. Okay, you'll get the complete package, the whole trader package for $497. That's option number 1. Option number 2. We never did this where we combine this with another option. We have a live trade room. We have a trade room where people analyze and moderators doing that stuff. Option number 2 includes that. Okay. Therefore, you get 2 full years of the roadmap trader if you go with option 2, and you get access to that live trade room. We call this the roadmap success package. We put it together sort of by accident where we combine the global trade room plus the roadmap. All these moderators are experienced traders. They're part of it. Jeff Smith, he trades futures, he trades stock, trades oil. Chuck Crow is the key number master. Charlie Finn, there's no option educator out there that knows what that guy knows. Steve Thompson, a former student of ours that leads and moderates the first hour of the trade room. And Celeste Lemon, unbelievable swing trader. If you like swing trading, she's on there talking about that. We got a great global team that makes it up, and I pop in from time to time. I'm the early bird. Now, the global trade room is open for business from Sunday night to the close. Here's what people said. Let me see what they said. I've been scared to death watching you stay so calm during the up and down moving market. It's been a lifesaver. I'll be a lifelong member. Yeah, why get upset? You just got to look at the market and you got to do what your plan is. Number 2, my unannounced presentations happen a lot when I see things in the market. So therefore, a lot of people join that global trade room because of that. Now, what we'll do together in the trade room, we'll find and execute orders. We'll analyze global and economic news. If you've got a stock you want us to look at, we'll give you our evaluation of it. If you got a strategy you want us to look at, we'll give you our evaluation of it. We look for opportunities in stock, futures, and options. We organize the data that all traders face. We talk about news. We have 8 public events that we focus on: the Fed. We have the non-farm payroll educational series, and we really hold your hand through whether the market's going up or down. The trade room is sort of our gathering spot at DTI. Top ideas day and night. Now, we have 3 main trading moderated zones in the trade room: 8:30 to 10:30, That's to get you on the right side each day. 12 to 1:30, evaluate where we are, where we're going. That's the noon lunch period. And then, of course, from 2:30 to 3 Central Time, we close out the day and say, hey, this is what we learned today about today's market. Today in there, they'll be talking about my 5-day forecast and how to take advantage of it. Now, we have bonus live sessions. This is where I'll come in and early in the morning when I see things happening overseas, say, let's take advantage of it. Sometimes at Monday through Thursday, we do a planning session in there to teach you about what to look for the next day. And we have option training every day, Monday through Friday by Charlie Finn. It's outstanding, outstanding. Now, my commitment to you, I've been in this game a long time. I've made a lot of money. I've lost a lot of money. But we're in this together. We won't leave you behind if you're serious about learning. So, yeah, Ken said this is true. One thing I've learned after 10 years with Tom, he's been with me 10 years, is that when he says listen, you better do it. Now, what I told you today about the market, you ought to listen to, okay? Now, it's simple. You'll learn the roadmap and you'll make money. That's simple. So, option 1, $497, option 1. Option 2 includes 2 years of the roadmap plus the trade room for 2 years. That's the best option, clearly. Option 1, option 2. Now, the big bonus. We got Jeff and Chuck are going to focus on key numbers with the roadmap and do a session on Monday the 29th at 11:30 Eastern time. That, folks, they have courses and all this stuff. They're going to give you the executive summary of what we call the roadmap software, key numbers. I thought that'd be great. All right, so go to westmarktrading.com/TB, or you can call 904-416-1776. Remember, if you buy number 1 and come in number 1, that's 1 year with the roadmap. If you buy number 2, you get 2 years of the roadmap plus the trade room for 2 years. That's clearly the best offer, the $997, okay? 904-416-1776. Here's what we're going to do, okay? I got through the presentation. Let me answer a few questions, and then let's talk about this 5 days that's going to lead. We call it 5 days to paradise, or the best 5 days of the month, or whatever. We call it a bunch of things, but we're getting closer and closer as the time goes by. Closer and closer. It's supposed to start no later than tomorrow morning. I think it's going to start at 1. We'll see. All right, questions. Type in if you got any questions.
Sure, Tom. Let me feed you a couple here that have come up.
Okay.
So several people asked this question: does your software need data feed from someplace?
Yes, it does, and it works with most of the major brokerage companies. Okay, it's totally free. If you don't have a brokerage account or don't have that, you can get it through DTN. You get it through eSignal, but most of the companies out there supply data that we just transfer in here. Okay.
All right. Another question came up here because you made a reference to this. What do you mean specifically by autopilot trades?
Oh, the autopilot trades. Okay. I teach this as a basic. Okay. Yeah. Both IB and Thinkorswim work. Both of them work. IB is probably better than Thinkorswim, but Thinkorswim does work. Okay. Autopilot trades. Okay. When I put on a trade, I want to know where to enter at. That's a very important thing. I want to know where I'm going to exit at when I'm right. That's the target. And I want to know where I'm wrong. Those are the 3 minimum components that I call an autopilot trade. So you got the data, you know the numbers. All you have to do is put those into your brokerage account and fire away. Okay. Because what happens, let me talk about that in a second, Raleigh. Yeah. What happens is that people get into a trade and they see the money start moving and they get emotional. What we teach from day 1 is keep those emotions over here, and follow the process of trading. That's probably one of the best things I've learned over the years. You know, you see the market go up and down, but you got to follow your plan. Okay.
Absolutely. And then one last question here before we go on, Tom, was what is your typical holding period for the position? Does the roadmap work for all stocks, penny stocks, commodities, ETFs? Great question.
Yeah, we designed a roadmap to fit the trader style. So if you're a short-term trader, works for you. If you're a swing trader, it works for you. If you're a long-term investor, we got one program in the, let me tell you what we got in there, Rod. We got one program in there for people that want to trade once a month. I mean, it's got a scanner that will go in and pull that stuff and tell you the best stocks that are going to be good for the next month. It's a great scanner. Anyway, and it's simple to use because it used to not be so simple. Jeff's an engineer, he worked with me getting it done, but I said, you got to simplify this thing. Now it's simple.
That's great. All right, folks. Well, Tom's going to move on to the next section of his presentation. Keep the questions flowing. Tom, anytime you want to pause and see if there are questions, I'll be glad to feed those to you.
Yeah, let's do that, Raleigh, if we can, because I went through the presentation. I've done this presentation, you know, the 4 patterns, learn those 4 patterns, learn the roadmap, get started, make it happen, change your life. To a man and woman, if you get the roadmap after 30 days, I will ask you this question in the group, okay? And it's pretty simple. It's pretty simple when I do that, okay? I say, are you making money? Every time I do that, I take a poll. That poll is greater than 80%. I don't think I've ever seen it less than 80% of the people that, you know, respond. All right, does the price change after 1 or 2 years? It's going to be hard to answer that priori. I would tell you the following, okay? We will honor the price today. If you sign up today, we'll honor it for another sign up. So if you buy the 2-year program, you get 2 years down the road, we'll give you that price. We'll grandfather you in for that price. That'll get you out to 4 years, okay? Doing it that way. We'll do that.
Sounds terrific.
All right, y'all want to talk about the market a little bit?
Why not? Let's take a look at what's happening.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the deal. Here's the deal. If you go through, and I actually subscribe to Bloomberg, and Bloomberg, you know, gives me this news. They feed me news all day. Every news item, I counted it up, and this happened after Mini Mike got kicked out of the campaign. Okay, you know, worst debate in history, right? Okay, so he gets kicked out. Well, anyway, this happened. They are tailoring every news item to be negative. Market's up, you know, say the market's up 3%. They don't say the market's up 3%. Here's what it says. Market overbought. You know, they're purveyors of fear. Or every news item. That's not only happening there, but it's happening on every news item you read. I could go through 5 top investing things for today. Negative. Everything you read is negative. When has somebody said, and I'll ask you this question, when has somebody said, hey, we just had the greatest rally in the last 50 days, in the history of exchange? Is anybody talking about that? No, they're talking about the coronavirus. They're talking about the market's going down. But let me tell you what the market's telling you. And I've been trading this sucker a long time. The market is telling you we're going higher. How much higher? We'll at least go up to where we started the year at, and that's another 200 S&P points. And I think that's going to happen over the next 6 months. So what I would be doing as an investor right now, I would be picking good quality stocks, and I would be putting strategies for those stocks. I would have some downside protection, but I would have strategies that would keep you invested right now. Now's not a time to be running away. And here's the other thing you need to know. On a typical year like this, on a typical year meaning where you see a market trade this way, July the 4th is sort of the starting gate. So you got to have these stocks identified now and over the next few days, the ones you want to hold, okay? You can make a lot of money, but you got to be committed. You got to know where you're wrong when you get in, and you got to know where you're really right. So that's the market. Now, as far as timing goes, Ram, the way I would protect myself is with married puts. You know what that is? You know what married puts are? So if I buy a stock, okay, I would buy a put and marry it to it. And then I would go sell a call at where my target was to pay for the put. And I would do that strategy over and over and over again. But I'd use this roadmap for entry. This roadmap is going to help you get in at the right place. Okay? That's how I would do it. Oh, let's talk about that. That's a good thing. What is my favorite stock to trade? Okay, here's my favorite stock to trade: Apple Computer. I've been trading Apple Computer since $7 a share. Okay, I said when we got started it was one of my trades this week, and then I said it's going to go back up to 372. If it's going to go back up to 372, it's currently, let me look at Apple right now. Apple's at 361. Okay, so that's $11 on Apple. I will know when to get into Apple using the roadmap software, because I will get a buy signal generated by the software, and that will put the odds in my favor when it's time to enter. I don't know how about you, because y'all use $10 out of a stock in the next 5 or 6 days without all the heat you got to take when they go against you? I'd say yes. I would say yes. You see, I'm wearing a blue shirt today. My subscribers know when I'm wearing a blue shirt, I'm trading a lot. Okay. And today I'm trading a lot. Hadn't started yet, but I'm trading starting this afternoon. All right. So let me go back to another question somebody had. Okay. Let me ask this question. Who has signed up for the roadmap right now? I want to thank you if you signed up. And Neil, way to go. Roger, good. Good. Adam, I don't know. Can we do this? Can we give them a special bonus if they sign up? Okay. Oh, I do day trading, swing trading, and long-term trading. I do it all. But let's give it a special bonus. If you sign up, I'm having a special broadcast today at 2 o'clock Eastern to help people position themselves for this 5 days. We will include you in that because it's I call it all service flash meeting, where I bring all my subscribers in together, and I'm going to do that today at 2 Eastern. So Adam just told me that he could get you in there if you get signed up, but don't delay. If you delay too much, you won't get the invitation. Okay. Yeah, perfect. Neil's in. Okay, that's good. Yeah, 1 o'clock Central. 1 o'clock Central. Now, here's a stock you ought to look at. And then you go research it. WKHS. I told my people when this stock was $2.50, they ought to buy this stock. Check it out now. It's called Workhorse. Go check that one out. All right, I'm trying to think. Well, thank you, Neil. Thank you. I appreciate that. You know, here's the deal. We spent all these years studying and trying to make trading a process. The roadmap forces you to do the right thing, okay? And that's where to enter, where you're wrong, and what to do. I didn't talk about this feature. We got one feature right. If you trade options, who trades options? Who trades options? We got one feature in the roadmap called pops and drops. It will go through 1,000,000 lines of code to tell you the top options to buy if the market's going up, and the top options to buy puts on if the market's going down. You get it every morning. Yeah, I love options. Options are great. Raleigh, did I miss any of the questions? I'm not getting very many questions right now, but I guess they're signing up and trying to get into the meeting. But did I miss any questions?
Let me see here. Let me take a look here quickly. One question here, can you upgrade from option 1 to option 2 later? In other words, if somebody gets into the yearly thing and goes like, man, I love this, I wish I had signed up for option 2.
I don't think so.
Got to make that decision now, right?
Yeah, let me just tell you, folks, I just got to tell you, you got to decide to be successful that you're going to do it. And that is absolutely an unbelievable deal where you get 2 years of the roadmap and you get 2 years in our trade room. That trade room, that alone is worth, I think, $3,000 if you go to 2 years just buy the trade room by itself. You know, so no, you got to make a decision if you want to be in there.
Exactly. And I think I just want to reiterate something that you mentioned earlier, Tom, and that was that if somebody buys into the option, either option today, and they want to go ahead and re-up, you'll honor today's pricing, regardless of the pricing.
Yeah, today.
Yep. You make that decision today. Question here. Does the software link with Thinkorswim? So if I have a Thinkorswim account?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
It does. Yeah, that was a big change. And in fact, if you got an old Schwab account, you know, Options Express, if you got an old Schwab account, it works for that great too. Believe me, there's data out there now that connects. That makes it great. It does, Neil, it does do TradeStation, but I think TradeStation needs a big upgrade in their software. Their data, personally, I wouldn't use TradeStation. I'd use another one. That's my personal view.
Let's see, another question here. Can we customize our watch list to get roadmap predictions?
Oh, absolutely. That's the beautiful thing about it. It was made for the trader, not the programmer. So you've got the ability, like we got one strategy that picks out, you know, the top 10 stocks going up, the top 10 stocks going down, and then we have a deep dive feature that you can program stocks you want in there. Okay. It's just pretty good. Yeah. I think you're right about that. When Tom Sosnoff built Thinkorswim, he just took everything anybody gave him traveling around the country, put it in there. He's got so much stuff in there. But once you figure out what you want to use, you know, we got sort of that same problem in the room. It does so much because I did the same thing, so I relate to what Tom did. But we got what I call a simple approach. You need to know where you're going to enter the market from a general market. You know, my number one rule is if you can figure out where the S&P 500 is going, 75% of stocks will follow. So we got that version that you can sit there and look at. We got the ETR line. The ETR line is very, very masterful. Matter of fact, let me show it to you. I'll bring my live version over there and show it to you. I think it'll show. Let me see. Yeah, there's the ETR line. So like what I'm doing this presentation now, you can see this is keeping up with the stocks. It's an electronic tape reader, and it's basically telling me what's happening. And it's a sort of a mixed environment right now. And I think that's going to change from a time standpoint when you get to another. Let me just see if I can show you another feature real quick that's sort of cool. Let's see it. Yeah. This is the one that if you like options, you'll love. But here's the pops and drops feature. And that's what it's saying today for the pops right there is Apple. You can see it's on there quite a bit. Okay. And there's the puts that came up today.
Wow.
Yeah, it's got all that stuff. And what it does, it scans that stuff, scans all the, you know, everything out there and gives you the top. Okay. And
Tom, you had mentioned Tom Sosnoff just a moment ago, and several people had asked about the Tastywork platform.
Yeah, Tom had promised me he'd open up the API and let us write to it, but he's drinking water out of a fire hose, opening so many accounts he hadn't got it done yet. But eventually it would be. Yeah, what we do on platforms that we like, Raleigh, we'll eventually connect. And here's the beautiful thing about it, and I don't know if you know this or not. They're working on a cloud roadmap where all you will need, okay, is a sign-in to go to that cloud, and your password and things, so you can have it on any device or anything. Their date of having it's December 1st.
Okay.
And what we're going to do, I just got to tell everybody what we're going to do. We're going to grandfather everybody in once we have that capability. Then we'll sell the new version with the deal, probably at a higher price. But I already told them, I said I want to grandfather anybody in by the end of November, and then that way you're in once we make that upgrade. Okay, it's going to
I
be a
got
huge
you.
upgrade. I mean, for example, one of the issues that we've got a mobile version, but I don't like it. But one of the issues we've had is the fact that I like to look at the roadmap if I'm looking at the market, because it gives me a real quick snapshot without having to go roll up my sleeves and figure it out.
So, Tom, you are the chief tester. It's got to get by you. If it doesn't get by you, it's not going to see the market.
Yeah, now, let me tell you another funny story about that. We have a programmer that told me years ago, if I could dream it, he could write it. He's out of Utah. Well, Mike he's been working on the roadmap all these years. Well, about 4 years ago, my impatience of, do you have this done yet? Do you have this done yet? Really rubbed him the wrong way. And he quit on me. Okay. And so we agreed that Jeff, who is our number 2 or number 1 guy with me, Jeff Smith, has to talk to him. So here's the way it works. I give Jeff the idea.
Okay.
He talks to Mike in that programming talk or whatever, and they come back. I get my version. I go back to Jeff. It slowed it down about a day, but at least I'm not rubbing him the wrong way. Hey, do you have it ready? Do you have it ready? Because I used to tell him, Mike, you told me you'd have it ready Monday. Where's my new feature? But anyway, we had a lot of fun with it, but we thought that would work best. So it slowed me down a little bit, but doesn't keep me from thinking.
Well, I tell you what, that's great, Tom, because in many ways, you're just basically shadowing or echoing what we as traders feel. Can we have this? When can we get that? This would be cool to have, et cetera. Well, you're sitting there as the advocate within DTI for the things that your customers, your clients, and prospective customers want in their product. Constant change.
And see, that's the other thing that you just mentioned. See, I have the ability, being around as long as I have, to look at the market and say, I need this new feature by this date to take advantage of it, because, and so I got a deadline in my mind with the market that I'm tying the feature I gave him. So that's sometimes, get ahead of your skis on stuff like that. But anyway.
I think that's terrific. Tom, this has been a fast hour, my friend. Thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate this. And
yeah, what a great group. I enjoyed doing this. And, there's Nikki and Pat again. They popped on, but y'all got a great thing going on. And hey, get joined, get your invitation at 1 o'clock Central, 2 o'clock Eastern. I'm going to show you how to walk that path for 5 days. And we already got it set up to go. So
that sounds great. Thank you very, very much, Tom. I'm going to grab the screen back here for just a second. And once